In a world drowning in noise, validation-seeking, and herd mentality, the Sigma male stands apart like an oak in a field of wheat, unbending, deeply rooted, and unconcerned with the winds of social approval. He doesn't just reject conformity, he transcends it entirely, operating on a frequency most can't even perceive. These 11 uncommon traits aren't mere preferences, they're the DNA of a man who has cracked the code of true independence. From his eerie comfort with silence to his surgical precision in social interactions, every trait reveals a layer of psychological mastery. If you recognize these in yourself, you're not just different, you're awake in a world that prefers sleepwalkers. 1. The Art of Unsent Messages. A Sigma male will spend 20 minutes crafting the perfect text, sharp as a scalpel, loaded with meaning, only to delete it unsent. This isn't hesitation or social awkwardness, it's a calculated exercise in emotional discipline. He understands something primal. Words released into the world take on a life of their own, often mutating into weapons others will use against him. By keeping his thoughts contained, he maintains absolute control over his energy and attention. There's a dark psychology at play here. Modern society trains people to seek instant gratification through constant communication, to vomit every thought and feeling for cheap validation. The Sigma reverses this conditioning. His unsent messages are like shadowboxing sessions where he trains his restraint muscles. Each deleted draft is a small victory over the dopamine-driven need to be heard. This habit creates an aura of mystique. While others drown in pointless debates and emotional splatter, the Sigma's silence becomes a gravitational force. People lean in, trying to decipher him, while he conserves his energy for battles that actually matter. His restraint isn't repression, it's the ultimate power move in a world where everyone else is hopelessly overexposed. 2. Solitude in abandoned places. Derelict factories at dusk, crumbling mansions overtaken by ivy, forgotten stretches of highway where civilization fades to silence. These are the Sigma's cathedrals. Where others see decay, he sees poetry in rust and peeling paint. These spaces speak to him in a language of impermanence, whispering the truth that all empires fall, all glory fades, and the only real legacy is the strength you forge within yourself. The attraction isn't morbid. It's philosophical. Abandoned places are the ultimate truth-tellers, stripped of pretense, naked in their dysfunction. No curated Instagram angles, no fake smiles for the camera. The Sigma recognizes these spaces as mirrors for his own soul, uncompromising, unadorned, and beautifully indifferent to approval. While normies flock to trendy hotspots to be seen, he's drawn to places where he can simply be. There's also a tactical advantage. In these forgotten spaces, the Sigma hones his most valuable skill, thinking without filters. The silence of abandonment becomes a mental gym where he trains his clarity. No influencers posing, no social hierarchies to navigate, just raw space and unfiltered thought. This is where his best ideas are born, where strategies crystallize, where he remembers that all human constructs are temporary except the will to endure. 3. The Intuition Compass. Sigma males operate with a near-psychic sense of detection. They'll meet someone and within minutes know, not think but know, whether they're dealing with substance or smoke. This isn't some mystical gift. It's the result of thousands of hours spent observing human nature at its most unguarded. Where others listen to words, the Sigma reads micro-expressions, vocal tones, and the subtle tells most miss entirely. This intuition extends beyond people. They can walk into a business meeting and instantly sense the real power dynamics beneath the corporate theater. They'll make career moves that seem irrational to outsiders, only to be proven right when the market shifts months later. This isn't luck. It's pattern recognition honed to a razor's edge through relentless observation and trust in their own judgment. The dark side? This skill isolates them. When a Sigma tries to explain why he distrusts someone everyone else likes, he sounds paranoid. When he avoids a great opportunity because it feels off, he looks lazy. But time always proves him right. This creates a quiet loneliness, knowing things others don't but being unable to convince them until it's too late. Yet he accepts this burden because his intuition has saved him too many times. 4. The Unapologetic Exit. Watch a Sigma at any social gathering. While others linger out of obligation, nursing warm drinks and dying inside, he'll vanish the moment the event stops serving him. No drawn-out goodbyes, no fake excuses, just a strategic disappearance that leaves people wondering when exactly he left. This isn't rudeness, it's a masterclass in energy conservation. Most people are trapped by invisible social contracts. The belief that staying X hours proves you're polite, that suffering through small talk makes you a good person. The Sigma recognizes this as brainwashing. His time is his most precious asset, and he audits every minute like a hedge fund manager. If an interaction isn't enriching him intellectually, emotionally, or professionally, he severs it without guilt. The psychological power here is immense. By refusing to perform social rituals, he rewires how people treat him. They learn he won't tolerate time wasters, which paradoxically makes them value his attention more. His exits are quiet lessons in boundary setting, demonstrating that presence is a gift, not an entitlement. In a world of human golden retrievers desperate for approval, the Sigma's ability to walk away is the ultimate flex. 5. The Camouflage of Silence. When a Sigma male is going through a transformation, career shift, personal growth, creative gestation, he doesn't broadcast his struggle. Instead, he enters a voluntary blackout. Social media goes dark. Texts get shorter. To the outside world it looks like he's fading. In reality he's in his lab building something significant. This is the opposite of modern vulnerability theater, where people monetize their breakdowns for likes. The Sigma understands that true growth happens in the shadows. By the time people notice his absence, he's already 3 iterations ahead. Let them speculate, their confusion is his advantage. When he re-emerges with new skills, a sharper mindset, or a body transformed by discipline, it seems to happen overnight. There's ancient wisdom here. Nature's most powerful transformations occur underground or in cocoons, hidden from view. The Sigma applies this to personal development. His silence isn't just absence. It's a strategic void where ordinary men would crumble from lack of validation, but where he forges his next evolution. When he chooses to reveal his progress, it's not for applause, it's because the work is done and no opinion can alter it. 6. The Grand Digital Detox. While others are tethered to their devices, suffering from phantom vibrations and the anxiety of unanswered notifications, the Sigma male engages in what can only be described as a digital vanishing act. He'll turn his phone off for days, sometimes a week, disconnecting entirely from the incessant hum of the online world. This isn't a casual break, it's a profound, almost spiritual, purge of external demands on his consciousness. The dark psychology. Most people derive a significant portion of their self-worth from digital validation, likes, comments, messages. The Sigma recognizes this as a leash. By intentionally severing it, he proves to himself and subtly to others that his existence and value are entirely independent of digital feedback. This deliberate void creates an immediate, palpable peace that most modern humans can only dream of. This detox allows him to recalibrate his internal compass, drowning out the noise of other people's opinions and desires. When he eventually resurfaces, it's not with an apology, but with a renewed clarity and focus that leaves others disoriented by comparison. His silence speaks volumes. My attention is a privilege, not a right. 7. The Silent Spectator. At any gathering, while others vie for attention or dominate conversations, the Sigma male is often found on the periphery, seemingly disengaged. But beneath that calm exterior he's processing data at an astonishing rate. His eyes are a scanner, his ears a sensitive microphone, picking up on micro-expressions, shifts in body language, and the unspoken tensions that reveal more than any words ever could. The dark psychology. People, particularly in social settings, are performance artists. They present a curated version of themselves. The Sigma sees through the act. His silence is a strategic maneuver that disarms others, lulling them into a false sense of security where they inadvertently reveal their true agendas, insecurities, and intentions. He's not being rude, he's conducting a live psychological audit. He's tough to manipulate. He spots tells, inconsistencies, and bad vibes instantly, knowing you better than you know yourself. 8. The Discomfort Detector. Embracing being disliked by the right people. For most people, the fear of social rejection is a powerful motivator for conformity. The Sigma male, however, finds a peculiar satisfaction in being disliked by specific types of individuals. If a narcissist, a shallow social climber, or a perpetually aggrieved victim type recoils from him, it's not a wound, it's a badge of honor. The dark psychology. The right people to be disliked by are those whose worldview fundamentally clashes with authenticity, independence, and self-possession. When these individuals are put off by a Sigma, it's because he acts as a mirror, reflecting their own performative nature or deep-seated insecurity back at them. His mere presence, unburdened by the need for their approval, exposes their desperate craving for it. This trait is a powerful filter. By naturally repelling those who thrive on drama, superficiality, or control, the Sigma curates his environment, ensuring that the few people who remain in his orbit are genuinely aligned with his values. He doesn't chase universal acceptance. He embraces the clarity that comes from intentional exclusion. 9. The authenticity magnet, valuing energy over aesthetics. In a world obsessed with carefully curated appearances, from Instagram filters to designer labels and plastic surgery, the Sigma male has an almost visceral aversion to anything inauthentic. He doesn't care about your brand, your car, or your follower count. He cares about your vibrational frequency, your essential nature, the raw energy you project. The dark psychology. Society conditions people to judge based on surface-level metrics, creating an endless cycle of comparison and envy. The Sigma bypasses this entirely. He instinctively detects the difference between a person's facade and their true self. A forced smile, a boastful tone, an empty gaze behind expensive clothes. These are immediate red flags that repel him, regardless of how attractive they are to the masses. Conversely, he's powerfully drawn to genuine, unpolished individuals whose energy radiates sincerity and inner calm, even if they lack conventional glamour. This makes him a natural magnet for other authentic souls, forming deep, rare connections that are built on truth rather than pretense. He knows that true substance resonates, while superficiality echoes emptiness. 10. The independent architect, an aversion to being led. While betas seek leaders to follow and alphas enjoy leading, the Sigma male inherently recoils from being a follower in any meaningful sense. This isn't rebellion for rebellion's sake. It's an unshakable conviction that his path is uniquely his own, and no external authority or group consensus can dictate his trajectory. The dark psychology. The human desire for belonging often leads to cognitive conformity, adopting group beliefs even if they clash with individual reason. The Sigma is immune to this. His mind is his own kingdom and he guards its borders fiercely. He will listen to arguments, consider perspectives, and even collaborate, but the final decision, the ultimate blueprint for his life, is always unequivocally his. This can make him appear aloof or stubborn, but it's the bedrock of his freedom. He views reliance on external leadership as a surrender of personal agency, a mental slavery that he refuses to accept. His decisions are made in the quiet crucible of his own mind, guided by his own compass, leading him to paths that others are often too afraid or too conditioned to even perceive. 11. The questioning mind, a fascination with conspiracy theories. While the mainstream dismisses certain narratives as conspiracy theories, to be ridiculed and ignored, the Sigma male's antennae immediately perk up. This isn't because he's credulous or prone to paranoia, it's because his mind is perpetually seeking the hidden mechanics, the true levers of power, and the unspoken agendas beneath the official story. The dark psychology. Authority structures thrive on unchallenged narratives. The Sigma by nature cannot accept a story at face value if it lacks internal consistency or contradicts his intuition. He understands that power operates in the shadows, and that complex systems often have complex, sometimes inconvenient, truths behind them. His fascination is simply an advanced form of critical thinking applied to the world's most intricate puzzles. He's not interested in proving outlandish claims. He's interested in the act of questioning, the process of deconstruction. This intellectual exercise sharpens his discernment, making him incredibly difficult to manipulate or indoctrinate. While others passively consume information, the Sigma is actively dissecting it, perpetually aware that the most convenient explanation is rarely the most truthful. His skepticism is his shield and his curiosity his scalpel. There you have it, 11 uncommon things that reveal the inner world of the Sigma male. These aren't just quirks or passing tendencies. They are deliberate choices, psychological strategies, and ingrained patterns that define a rare archetype of masculinity in an age of conformity. A man who understands at the deepest level that true power comes not from external validation, social approval, or tribal allegiance, but from unwavering self-mastery, relentless self-honesty, and the courage to stand alone when necessary. If these traits resonated with you, if you felt a deep recognition in your bones as you read these words, then welcome. You are not alone in your solitude. You are part of a quiet revolution, a growing movement of men who choose to live deliberately, think critically, and walk their own path, undisturbed by the clamor of the crowd. This is not about rebellion for rebellion's sake, nor is it about ego or superiority. It's about something far more profound: sovereignty of mind, clarity of purpose, and the unshakable commitment to personal truth above all else. The Sigma male represents something ancient yet urgently relevant: the archetype of the lone thinker, the quiet strategist, the man who moves through the world with eyes wide open while others sleepwalk through their lives. He is the modern embodiment of the philosopher-warrior, equally comfortable in the arena of ideas as he is in the school of hard knocks. His strength lies not in loud proclamations or social dominance, but in silent observation, calculated action, and the patience to wait for the right moment. This is not an easy path. It requires daily discipline, emotional resilience, and the willingness to be misunderstood. There will be times when the world tries to drag you back into its games, when people will attempt to guilt or shame you for not playing by their rules. But the Sigma knows this is the price of freedom, and he pays it without complaint. Because he understands that no amount of social approval is worth the cost of his autonomy, no measure of temporary comfort is worth the sacrifice of his long-term vision. The Sigma's journey is ultimately one of self-actualization. While others chase trends, seek validation, and measure themselves against artificial standards, he is engaged in the real work, the work of becoming. Every silent observation, every moment of strategic withdrawal, every instance of choosing depth over distraction is another step toward mastery. He is not concerned with proving himself to the world. He is too busy building it within himself first. So if you recognize yourself in these words, take this as both an affirmation and a challenge. An affirmation that your instincts were right, there is another way to move through this world. And a challenge to go deeper, to refine your craft, to sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit until nothing and no one can derail you from your purpose. The Sigma is not born, he is forged. In the quiet moments of discipline, in the willingness to face uncomfortable truths, in the courage to stand apart when necessary. This is the essence of the Sigma. This is the path to true freedom. Not the freedom of childish rebellion, but the freedom of the man who has mastered himself. Not the freedom of running away from responsibility, but the freedom that comes from choosing your responsibilities with care. Not the freedom of isolation for its own sake, but the freedom to connect deeply with those few who truly matter, on your terms, with your standards, without compromise. The world needs more Sigma energy now than ever. In an age of manufactured outrage, synthetic personalities, and groupthink masquerading as wisdom, the Sigma stands as a living counterargument. He is proof that a man can think for himself, move by his own compass, and build a life of authentic meaning, not in spite of going against the grain but precisely because he dares to. This is your call. This is your reminder. This is your invitation to step fully into what you already sense is possible. The Sigma doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't need a cheering section. He simply acts, with precision, with purpose, with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his own worth isn't up for debate. The path is open. The choice is yours. This is the essence of the Sigma. This is the path to